very good morning, girls, and welcome back to your English class. So, in my previous class, I was discussing about the poem The Schoolboy, written by the famous romantic poet William Blake. So, I was speaking about William Blake and his songs of experience, songs of innocence, and this poem comes under the songs of experience. I had also started the first two paragraphs. So, before I start off with my class, I would like to have a short recap about my previous class. The Schoolboy is a pastoral poem that focuses on the problems inherent in formal learning. So I told you the main aim that that the poet uses the schoolboy in order to show the problems faced by the school going children in the formal way of education. So the problems that are faced by these small children are being portrayed in this poem. The boy who hates going to school feels that he would be better educated by the natural world. So the boy feels that he is more happy when he is in the company of the nature than being confined into the four walls, that is the school. So these are the first two paragraphs that I did in my previous class. The boy is the speaker here. The poet is speaking in the form of this small boy where he's portraying the problems faced. So the little boy, he says, he loves to rise on a summer morn. He loves to get up on a summer morning when the birds are singing everywhere, when the huntsman is blowing his horn from a very far distance. The skylark is singing along with him, where he feels he is very happy with the nature, with this company. He calls them sweet company. He is very happy with the company of the nature. But and I also told you the mood of the poem in the first paragraph. He is very happy to be amidst the nature. But the very thought of going to school on a summer morning is driving his joy away. He says, "Oh, it drives all my joy away." We can see that the tone gradually comes down. He is very happy and suddenly the tone is down, where it shows the boy is not happy to go to school on a summer morning. Under a cruel eye outworn, so cruel eye outworn, it is referred to the teacher under whose surveillance that the boy is there from morning till evening inside the four walls. The little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. So, how are the little ones spending the whole day in the school? They are sighing. They are really fed up with the stuff that is put up in the school, and dismay is agony. They are in pain. So, that is the first two. That is the explanation for the first two paragraphs. So, moving on with the third paragraph. Ha! Then at times I drooping sit. So if you notice, ha, there's an exclamatory mark. It is not out of joy he's telling, ha! He is very sad and he says, Then at times I drooping sit. This ha here shows the pain that he is undergoing. So without any expectations, with all the agony, he is sitting inside the school. He says, "My life at school has become so miserable, and he is not ready to take it anymore." Okay. Then he says, drooping is nothing but restless. Okay, he is drooping and sitting. He is very restless in the school. That's what he says. And spend many an anxious hour. Anxious here refers to irritating. Okay, anxious hour. He is spending many a anxious hour, irritating hour in the school. He says, "I am really fed up with these anxious life at school." He is not able to sit under the strict surveillance of the teacher because he feels all his creativity is being subjected. He is not able to show his creativity. Okay. See, this is the concept. If you see, there are so many movies that portrays this concept of where the children's creativity is not being appreciated, and it is told that no, you have to follow this. So so if a child is creating something new, it is not appreciated. Okay, instead the child is, I mean, put down. So here the poet William Blake, he is trying to tell this, that the formal education is confined to certain rules and regulations, and we are strictly following that without looking that side or this side. I mean to say, we are not giving more importance to the child's creativity. Okay, we want our children, we want a small child to just mug up whatever is given in the book. We are not giving that extra time so that the child is showing or exposing her creativity, her or his creativity. That is what this small boy, he says. The children are spending so many anxious hours, irritating hours in the school. Nor in my books can I take delight. He says he does not take pleasure. He is not happy with the books that he is given. He wants to study amidst the nature. He wants to study so many things from the nature. He is not happy with the books. The concrete way of education is spoiling the creativity. Nature, being the best teacher, can impose the creativity in me. So that is what the boy says. The nature can bring out the creativity in me. So take for example, you put a child inside the classroom and give her some toys. What can the child create? Something new. It can do something. It is always confined to doing something inside the classroom. But in the same way, if you leave the child outside, if it is exposed with the nature, the way the child can bring out its creativity is completely different. The best example that I can give you is the movie Tare Zameen Par, where the boy is being, whatever he does, he is not, no, including the parents, they just tell him, no, this is the wrong way, you have to study, study, study. But once he is left out free, his creativity is being brought out. So I felt that is the right example for the poem The Schoolboy. So he says, nor in my textbooks can I take delight. I am not happy with the books. I have to be exposed to the nature in order to bring out my creativity. Nor sit in learning's bower. So if you see bower, bower is it is a German word. Okay, so this word refers to, in German language, bower refers to a cage. In simple words, a prison. So he's comparing the school to a cage. He calls it as the learning's bower. Children are put inside the cage and they are forced to sit and study, where children are not happy at all with that. Worn through with a dreary shower. Dreary shower, he means to say tired days and helpless days. Children are just worn, they are just losing their interest, they are becoming tired, they are unhappy, their energy is drained in this dreary shower. He is tired. Even though he is sitting inside the classroom, he feels very tired and unhappy. His energy is completely drained without doing anything. So, energy will be drained out when you do something. But here he says, I am drained out because I am not happy at all. I hope you are understanding. If you have any doubts, you can always text me and ask me. Okay. So, moving on to the next lines. How can a bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? So, here in this line, he is comparing himself to a bird. Bird again here refers to the nature, freedom, I told you. So, before I explain this line, I want to ask you something. You are given freedom, and you are to make a choice between these two things. You are given a lot of money to enjoy your life. Okay, you are given the best luxury, but you are deprived of freedom. That is one choice you have to make. You are given freedom with nothing. Okay, what will be your choice? Will you choose freedom, or will you take up the luxurious life and be in servitude? What would you prefer? See, if they ask me, I would always go for freedom, because if you are free to do anything, you can achieve so many things. So I tell you, freedom is everything. But here, according to the boy, he is deprived of that freedom. How? Why? So I can tell. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? So you expect a bird which is, see, a bird literally means freedom. It is flying outside in the open air, it does whatever it wants. But if the same bird is kept as a if it is kept under captitude, if it is under servitude, it is put in the cage, and if you are demanding the bird to do, will the bird ever be free to do something? The bird will be desperately wanting to just break the cage and go out and fly outside. So he is comparing himself to that caged bird. He says, how can a bird that is born for joy? Bird, I told you, it is a symbol of freedom. The same bird, if you if you put it in a cage, and if you expect the bird to sing and be happy, can the bird be happy? No, the answer is no. The bird cannot be happy at all. Even though you kept the bird in a golden cage, or a precious cage which is filled with diamonds and studs and precious stones, you are keeping the bird inside and you expect the bird to sing. Will the bird ever sing? No, it cannot be, because bird represents freedom. Okay, so how can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wings and forget his youthful spring? So here he is not able to put forth his creativity because he is scared. The child, he says, how can a child, when fears annoy? The child is feared, he is annoyed because he is under the strict surveillance of this so called teacher. But droop his tender wings. Droop means to limp. Okay, when you put the bird for a long time inside the cage and you expect the bird to fly with its tender wings, it cannot. Okay, droop means to limp. He is not, the little boy, he says, he is not able to expose his creativity freely because he's been drooped inside the school, he's been caged inside the school. He wants to expose himself before the nature. He wants to be free like that singing bird whose company he prefers initially, where he says he wants to be like that free bird that sings on every tree. He wants to be like that skylark who is sitting and singing every morning. He wants to go and be amidst the nature and learn so many things from the nature, but he is not allowed because he is drooped inside the school. So, this line, and forget his youthful spring. I told you in my previous class that the seasons play a very important role. So, initially I was speaking about the summer season, now he says youthful spring. So, the seasons represent in this poem, not only in this poem, every time we compare our life to different seasons. Okay, there are four different seasons: the spring, the summer, the autumn, and the winter. So the seasons represents our life cycle. So here spring season represents the childhood days or the birth of child. So what happens during this spring season? There is these trees which has new leaves, the plant starts flowering, all this happens. So that is the time compared to the birth of the child, the growing childhood days. So this is the time that I should be enjoying being a child, is what the boy says. This is the time he needs to show his creativity. But what is really happening? Is he let out free just like that? No, he is confined into the four walls of the school. So if I ask you to remember about your childhood days, you will always give me the fruitful memories that you have. You My teacher let me out to play, I was like this. You always have this fruitful memories of your childhood. Nobody tends to remember the sour or the bitter memories from childhood. When we all tend when we were children, we all like to grow up fast, but when we are grown, we always tend to go back to our childhood days. Why? Because we have had the best of best childhood days. So that is what the boy says, we need to enjoy our childhood days. We cannot be drooping and sitting and crying in agony and pain because we have lost our childhood in this so called school, the learnings Bava. So, this is the explanation of these 5 lines. I hope you are understanding. Yeah, so I will sum up today's class. I don't want it to go very fast with you all. So, I hope you all are understanding. If there is any doubts, you can ask this during the interaction session, and please do complete your notes. And I wanted to tell you all this. For this poem, summary will be sent. There is no need of studying the summary is just for your reference. Okay, make notes of whatever explanation I've given in your textbook, so that it will be helpful when you are studying. With this, I come to the end of today's session. Thank you. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.